So Charles is working on another DataDAO side, which is the Lagrange DAO. So Charles, when you're ready, feel free to, welcome to the stage. Feel free to jump into your presentation when you have a second.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so 1 minute. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm Charles. So I'm founder of First One. So we have been working on the Filecoin storage and development ecosystem for quite a while. And I felt exciting recently because we found we have new opportunities and start a new journey to working towards the Lagrange DAO for the data sharing and analytic space for decentralized scientists. Basically, like we see that there was lots of interesting scientific data in the world. They need really better services. So we see like there's lots of good public data sets. People want a worldwide access. They want a lower cost computing power. They want to have contribution and a social impact, because when they do the data uploading, they want people to know that they actually do something good for the society. And also there was lots of things on the data, but it's not really on chain. So it means that sometimes the link loss, the space loss, the work loss, which is really important for those precious data. And the versioning now is basically the version is all based on the centralized system. And there was also like sharing the data is based on Google Cloud or AWS Cloud. So this is really a huge market. From the graph you see, there will be more than 250 petabyte storage of a few years. That means that it will be covered 10% or even to 50% of Filecoin storage, which is really means a lot. Where Filecoin has over 18 gigabyte storage. On the other side, the different scientific data, they're still hosting on some central storage places looking for storage space. So we really want to build a place for decentralized science without borders. There were a couple of different places people need storage and they need decent incentives. So we see like an enterprise have their data stay in the hard drive. We see like a storage provider working hard on better storage proofing technology. We see like developers working hard on the retrievals, and there's the token holders. They have a Filecoin token in hand. They really want to encourage the ecosystem, but they don't really know how to do that. So we need better places to add different people in the same cycle so they can contribute to the bigger system. So with the FEVM, found that there was a better opportunity to get everybody together. So first of all, we can make there was lots of data sets. You can convert in the data set become data schema stored on IPFS and also on the Filecoin network. Previously, like we can, without FEVM, we can only do 1.5 years, which is 18 months storage. But now it's possible to make an extendable long-term contract to satisfy the needs of storage for long-term. For example, scientific data in university, maybe usually they need more than 5 years, 10 years storage. So it will be really good opportunity for them to store on Filecoin now compared to what happened in the past few years. On the workspace side, we can create a place for people to sharing their data and models. And on the payment side, the key proof can be aggregated on the FEVM to reduce the gas cost and increase the volume of the transactions. Cross-chain payment with FEVM integration, it gives you more possibilities to make a payment, not just in Filecoin, but other blockchain users like Polygon and the Binance chain that also make a payment using the cross-chain DeFi bridges to enable the storage on Filecoin network. We have already done some work on that, but now it's become more easy. And the modeling and the computing can working together as well. We already noticed that there are lots of computing power existing in the Filecoin network for sitting storage, but not 100% dedicated sitting. After the storage is onboarded, they can also share some of the computing power for the cross-chain computing. And it can, if we can create a workspace, put the data set and the model together and add a power in the same places, it can contribute. There was the token economics we needed to be done to sharing the revenue from data provider, storage provider, data consumer, and computing consumers. And then we need an effort on the data onboarding and allocated the dedicated funds for people willing to provide the storage and willing to use the data. This is the technical part of the stack. So in order to make a very stronger system, we needed to use the smart contract as core services to make the payment where you upload the data to the Filecoin network. You need different people to swap the tokens, so the external ecosystem, they can using smart contract based on DeFi cross-chain to using the same storage services. At the end, you need to give people the capability to mint their data asset as an NFT. It will be great if it's a one-click experience instead of writing a whole bunch of code. And at the end, all the resources in the Filecoin network can be contributed to different systems. The critical part is about the data governance and the computing validation. So we need a data oracle to help proving the data on chain, data availability, and also the data computing capability. So this part is by a DAO organization. You need a multi-sig wallet to sign the proof on chain. So we have done some work on top of that under the help of training external adapter and also Filecoin native FEVM. This is the data and payment flow. So we found that in the new DAO model, there are actually new business opportunities. Because for existing Fire Plus system, there was a couple of things like the data provider. So the data set owner and the model creator, they are those data provider. With the Filecoin Plus project, they become Fire Plus DAO, which will be 10 times more power than CC sectors. The storage provider willing to store them for free, even they're willing to give them some revenue sharing. And then the generates some confusing. Why storage provider sometimes willing to pay for stored client data? It seems like a very not common in traditional business. This is because when storage provider started using the data to earn extra Filecoins, it becomes a data consumer. In business side, actually data consumer is paid for everything. He needs to pay for the storage. He needs to pay for the computing, and he needs to pay for the bandwidth. So when storage provider trying to get the Fire Plus data for storage, he is downloading data from the data provider. That's why he needed to share the revenue to the data provider. It is for the data downloading. Data is the value. That is how it works for today. But there's no clear way and a clear market about how we can do this process automatically and in smart contract way. And this is a data schema. So this is the data schema and the model storage. So we don't have a big data set, for example, more than 400 terabytes. It will become chunked to 32 gigabyte data pieces. The indexed data should store in a safe place as a data schema. And this schema can be stored on IPFS because people need the index to easily fetch it of the data relationships. At the end of the day, those data include the data schema needed to back up to Filecoin. It should be back up to 5 nodes or even more to provide enough redundancy and availability. The data space is also stored on Filecoin because it's a huge amount of the size. At the end, you can trade in the data set, mint it as an NFT on the data market to show that you are the actual data owner of it, and you want to provide the opportunity for others make the funds together. This is one example about from the community who using the same methodology to mint the Filecoin snapshot as a data set. So basically, like the backup, frequently backup the Filecoin snapshot, put it storage on Filecoin network, and create a CSV format, JSON format dataset schema. And they mint the schema as the NFT with a smart contract and put it on OpenSea. So everybody can fetch the dataset schema from the smart contract. And because this is really important, so it with a key pointer in the smart contract with the IPFS hash, you get the data safely persistent in the network for long term. And in order to make the computing become ultimately easy, we needed to create a space which can join the data provider and the model provider together with the computing power. And at the end, the computing power will become a computing result back up to Filecoin network. We have done lots of work in the past few years, and we have Web3 switch to worldwide searching all the available storage provider and give them reputation points. So we know that who is good for the community to store, who is reliable. We have a cross-chain storage, previously already working with the Polygon network, and we are planning to migrate to FEVM, Filecoin network. It's really solidly compatible. It can automatically back up the storage to 5 nodes on Filecoin ecosystem. We also have edge computing nodes doing the computing based on the IPFS content hash. So now we have calls for participants to join the ecosystem doing the revenue sharing. So we are estimating about 12 to 10% revenue were shared with all the dataset uploaders. And we have been contributed in the system for a long time, since 2020. And we participate in the Slingshot 1, Sensor B2, and Fire Austin. We manage the DataDAO hackathon. You can see we already have lots of ecosystems projects working on the data and the related building work. Now, we are going to show some work we have been done already. So this is the system we first using for the as the V1 draft version. So we already be able to connect with the Filecoin Wallaby system, and you can log in with the MetaMask to sign in, and you will see your wallet address and your balance of the Filecoin, and you can create your data set here according to your need. If you want to create a new one, you can just add the data set. You have your wallet as the owner. You can give the name about data set, for example, is global. Yeah, and for the data schema, you can choose the data schema. For example, I have a data schema here already. You can put the data ID here. So in the future, we can fetch it. And you see here, you'll create a new data ID with the content here. We're still working on the model and the space and the computing. We managed to get the computing work here from the TensorFlow, running everything. Yeah, and doing all the computing works here. and get the result from all the systems. So the next step of the work is really like to make every pieces working together, computing hash machine learning, IPFS integration, and create the working space for everybody under the token sharing model. With this multi-gen storage, we are working on provide people a feeling of 30 gigabyte of free storage. So with those storage can be connected with the DataDAO. You can use this as AWS compatible failing storage, and the storage data you stored on the DataDAO will be used back up to IPFS and then back on 5 nodes. And those storage providers will share their revenue with you. And as a data provider, you get income because of your data value. When data model start and the computing power starts, you will gain extra value from your machine learning models. Yeah. So that's pretty much about what we are now. And we're working toward the next milestone to bring the computing power online. And please follow us Twitter. And if you have any questions, you're also welcome to talk to me on Telegram. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Charles, for the presentation and also for those demos at the end on what's actually being built. I think really awesome to see. And I mean, just this concept of being able to take just kind of underlying infrastructure and actually make it really easy for end users to store files or then eventually do compute and these things. It seems like really valuable effort that's being put into this. So thank you for that. Just see if there's any questions from the chat, but it doesn't seem like any have come through so far. So maybe just curious on your end, like if you were, you yourself, you say you've been in the community for a long time, and I saw a lot of the hackathons and stuff there. If you were going to be building this weekend at this hackathon, what would you be thinking about, and what are some of the projects that come to mind that you'd like to see built this weekend?
Yeah, so I'm really interested about the project. He make a usage of the data. For example, we see in last DataDAO hackathons, we see people using the data for the decentralized routing, because the CDN network building on top of the data, they're trying to share using the revenue sharing from the data storage and redistribute it to other services, become a cycle. We're also interested to see people how to do in the governance part. For example, votings, sharing openings, proposals, submissions. And the third part is something we really like to see people can using IPFS with Filecoin provide value for access Miro. We know that Miro is already using the IPFS and the Filecoin storage, but how can make them use more and eventually pay more in the future? So that will be a very interesting topic for us.
Amazing. Cool. Well, it totally makes sense. Okay, great. I didn't see oh, there is actually okay, cool. Somebody asked, is there really a connection in between IPFS and NFTs? I guess it might be worth kind of dipping in a little bit closer into how you can kind of use IPFS to be that storage layer behind NFTs.
Yeah, actually, we see NFT stored on IPFS is valuable because, but it's the only issues lots of NFTs have IPFS content hash, but they don't really tie together. And where they're stored, right? That's just one IPFS. How about the IPFS content is, we know that IPFS is not incentivized to store for long time yet. So have IPFS storage backup on Filecoin and building the relationship bonding together, then user feel safe, yes, my storage is on IPFS and NFT. So permanent storage, that is how it works, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. The kind of NFTs right now, a lot of them have the content hashes, but of course, if somebody stops serving that file or the network stops serving that or whatever, even gateway, a lot of people use gateways instead, which is even more fragile. Then your NFT, at least the content behind it goes away. but then yeah, actually having that defined relationship between Filecoin and IPFS and kind of having that guarantee that
Yep.
you know, perpetual storage is sort of the
And
best
with the
case outcome from that.
FEVM, we don't really rely on other block cross-chain solutions. We can have FEVM native solutions, smart contract,
yeah.
get everything in one system, which means makes sense ultimately much easier than the cross-chain solutions.
Definitely. Very cool. Awesome. Okay. Well, that's all the time we have on our end, Charles. Thank you so much for your time and your presentation on the Lagrange DAO, and looking forward to having you back on the show at some point, and also feel free to join the Discord and chat with people as they build over the weekend. So
Okay.
yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you.